Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
Can you see me?
Yes, I can. Can you see me?
No. I can now.
My video's
Great.
on.
How are you, Brittany?
I am doing well, and yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. Brittany, thank you so much for doing this, for accepting to do this. It takes a lot of strength to speak about the story because it's painful. It's horrible. I know.
Yeah.
I know what it takes to repeat everything all and once again, and it's very painful.
Yeah, it gets harder and easier all in the same sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Brittany, I think I will start by asking you, have you committed any crime?
No.
Did you kill someone?
No.
Did you rob anyone?
No.
Do you have your daughter with you?
No. Or neither my son, no.
So your daughter and your son, they have been taken away from you.
Yes.
But you have not committed a crime.
No.
So how on earth this can happen? And you are an American citizen, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you, I'm not going to say how do you explain, but I will ask you, what do they use against you to do such thing?
They accused me of being on drugs and having domestic violence in my household.
So, are you on drugs? Have you done drugs?
No. No, I've never been on drugs.
Are you selling any drugs?
No. No, and they didn't even drug test me until 4 days after they took my children.
So, and I from what I know, it's very easy to, and even you have beautiful long pink hair, so it's very easy for them to check if you have been on drugs or not.
Yes, they did a hair test 4 days later, and my hair test came back clean of all drugs except for legal THC.
For legal what?
THC, marijuana.
All right. So you have consumed marijuana.
Yeah, it's legal where I live.
It's legal.
Yes.
It could be illegal for them to then be able to take your children from you. So even that is legal.
Correct.
So which drugs do they say that you have?
They accused me of being on heroin and having heroin and heroin needles laying around my house.
Is that true?
No, and we actually had full police body camera searches of our entire property showing that none of that was true.
Brittany, when was that? We're back to which year?
They removed the children on December 17th of 2021.
Can you repeat the date, please? 17?
December 17th of 2021.
And how old was your daughter?
My daughter was 21 months old.
Can you say her name, or do you prefer not to?
Her name is Freyja.
Freyja. Beautiful name. And what about your boy?
My son's name is Tylee, and he was 8 years old at the time.
Say his name again.
Tylee. Tylee. I'm sorry, my teeth make it a little hard to
That's all right.
pronounce things. I'm still going through the adjustment after oral surgery.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask you what did you do? Why you have to do your teeth?
So when I was born, a lot of my back teeth had grown and rotten by the time I was a little kid.
Okay.
And the cavity spread across my top teeth. And that's why a lot of people used to accuse me of being on drugs, is because I had bad teeth. So, exactly 2 weeks ago yesterday, I went and had every one of my teeth pulled out and got full dentures.
Okay, have your dentist, did you ask your dentist to write that your teeth is like a problem that you had on your growing because of your food, because of your childhood?
No, because I've been through so many dentists in my life.
Yeah.
Being like on state insurance and stuff like that here in America, they don't really do things like that.
Okay, but can a dentist easily can they actually testify saying that it was not because of drugs?
No, they can't.
Okay. Or anyway, your hair is enough to say if you have been on heroin or not.
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, I took a hair test. I took a hair test and a urine screen the exact same day. Both of them, and I posted the results. Both of them came back completely negative for everything except for legal marijuana.
Now, when you told what's the reason I do that question regarding your teeth? Because I think it's important. You know, as you can see, I have a gap in here, and I have another 2 gaps here, and I have these gaps just because 2 teeth they didn't grow up. And, And I have never taken any drugs, and being on TV exposing the kidnap of my son by the English Social Services, Southampton precisely, there were people on the internet saying that I was on drugs. Yeah. Just because I have gaps on my teeth, and my teeth they are clean, and when I go to the dentist, and you know, because of my son, I haven't been on dentist for a couple of years. And the guys, they are quite surprised because it's so clean, you know. So they are surprised that I haven't been on dentist for years. So that's the reason why I wanted to do that question. So people that are judging, and we're talking about CPS. So they call themselves Child Protective Services, correct?
Yes.
So they were judging you because you had 3 teeth problems.
Mm-hmm.
And they used that on the report.
I was a drug addict.
To say that you were a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
So when the results of the drugs, they come negative, have they reported, have they done different reports, or nothing was done?
No, actually they turned around, and even though we had police reports that said no drugs, no domestic violence, they turned a report into the judge that said that there was a police report that says that there was drugs and there was domestic violence, even though I have a copy of the report saying the opposite.
So they say one thing, but they put a different report to the judge.
Mm-hmm.
Are they judging you because of your pink hair? Are they judging you because you have tattoos? Are they judging?
I do believe that has been a part of it too, and because I'm skinny. I'm a skinny person. I have tattoos. I have colored hair. I have piercings. They automatically assumed that I was a drug addict and an easy target.
On your upbringing, did you have any I would say social services? That's what I'm used to, if you don't mind. So, did you have any involvement with social services or CPS?
They were called one time when I was a baby. My mother, before she exited my life, had dropped me and cracked my skull in 3 different places. And when they did the scans, they found out that my skull had been cracked in 3 other places that had never been reported. But outside of that, we had never had anything like in my childhood. Now, the woman that took my children called CPS on me 10 years prior to this and tried to take my children when my son was a baby. However, 10 years prior, I was blessed that the social worker that came out, she was a real social worker. She came in and realized that this woman was lying about everything that she had said and actually helped me and didn't hurt me.
So, are you talking about a foster carer? She was interested on your baby?
I'm talking about a CPS worker.
No. Yeah, I understood that there was a woman that actually helped you. But who tried to take the baby from you?
It's my son's grandmother.
Sorry.
That's who has my children, is my son's grandmother. She's who called CPS.
So it's a member of your family that actually was doing this against you?
But she's not a member of my family, no. She's my ex's mother.
Okay.
She's not even related to my daughter.
I'm sorry. Maybe it's my English. I'm confused. Can you repeat that? Can you just explain that a bit better?
Okay, so my son and my daughter,
yeah,
they have different fathers.
Yeah.
Okay, so this woman is the mother of my son's father. She has no relation to my daughter whatsoever.
Yeah. So she wants your son?
No, she wanted both of them. I actually have screenshots of her talking about how she wanted to adopt a little girl.
So that she has mental problems, or she's just evil, or
both? And it gets worse because I know you're not from the States, but do you know what disability is?
Yep.
Okay, well, this woman is also on 100% disability, claiming that she cannot care for kids. Her job title was a nanny. She gets 100% disability from being a nanny, and then turn around and stole my children from me.
So how on earth have they given the children to them at the end?
Yes, they've had my children the entire time.
I'm really sorry, Brittany. I'm really sorry. But I always think that the issue is not the fact that exists evil people. I think the bigger issue is that the majority of the people, they turn the blind eye on that evil and they don't do anything, and they allow this evil to do these things.
Because there's a stigma that those people are always right.
But someone is hiding that you never have been on drugs. Someone is doing those reports. So
yeah, and it gets worse because we hired an attorney when this first happened. The attorney we hired would not gather any evidence. It took me over a year to get the police reports myself, to get the body-worn cameras myself. I had to get all of that evidence myself. Nobody would do it for us. Not even our own attorneys would get the evidence.
It's because they don't want to work, because they can't be bothered, because it's not their kids.
It's because they're too busy shaking hands with the other people that are their friends.
Okay, yeah. From Brittany, you are living in Virginia, right? In America?
Yes, ma'am.
You are not the only case. I'm sure that.
Oh, no.
So since 2021, you have been aware of these cases. I don't know if you were aware of these even before or not.
No, not before. I didn't. I really am guilty of being one of those people that I didn't know until it happened to me.
I won't say you are guilty because I think first of all, I've never heard about even the term forced adoption. I've never heard about that.
Me neither.
And
until all of this.
And now I know that they do everything to hide it, and they always I love pink, let me tell you. But they always put adoption in a rug in pink,
Yeah.
adoption is beautiful. And they always painted that adoption is amazing when there is now, fortunately, adoptees trying to having their voice and saying adoption is horrible. And you are celebrating the separation of a mother and a baby. So I know that they really want to destroy our voices. And, even like 2 days ago in Portugal, there was on the government channel the movie that was done to try to destroy everything that I have been doing. A movie that was financed by the government, portraying the immigrants the Portuguese immigrants in UK as dirty, that they go and rob and leave the kids near the bin. So all trying to destroy everything that I have been doing. And I know that I have been doing because in 2016, the name more used for baby boys, it was Santiago, the name that I gave to my son. And Santiago has never been a common name in Portugal. So I know that I have done some work, and I know that the Portuguese, they have heard me. So I know that I have been powerful in such end, and I know that people, they heard me. So I kind of lost now the track of what I wanted to say, but yeah. So, I know now. So, like I said, forced adoption, I've never heard that word. And now, even because I gave voice to other mothers, more people, they got the strength to have voice. Because even the courage is contagious. And I feel very fortunate that English mothers, they feel comfortable, they trust me, to give voice to them. So I think people now are losing even the fear of what the neighbors, they will think about it, because it's the time now for us to actually say social services, they are child trafficking our babies.
Yes.
It is wrong, and that's why I feel hurt by the society in general, because they allow these things to happen. When I scream to everyone to say adoption is wrong when babies, they are going for strangers when they have family. My parents, they said themselves that they were available to have their grandson in case if they wouldn't give my baby to me. But no, Portugal, the country that have even asked for help, they didn't do anything. So adoption is wrong, and 2 men and 2 women cannot have babies.
You cut out a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it came back in.
Yeah, I did hear that it was kind of an airplane or whatever on there. Did you have any airplane in there?
Yeah, I live right near a base.
Okay. So, I think it's very important that actually we share our story.
Because absolutely. Then speaking out is one of the first steps.
I can be judged by my teeth. You can be judged by your pink hair. You can be judged because of your teeth. But at the end, the people, they need to see that what we are saying is truth. And if you have not killed anyone, if you haven't done any crime, why you don't have your children?
Absolutely. And I'm a firm believer that speaking up is one of the very first steps. It's what helps us change the minds of even those that haven't been affected.
So I was asking, do you know other cases back in America?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I speak to families every single day.
And there is interest behind, they are hidden judges, that they are owners of children's homes, lawyers, social workers. Do you know about that?
It's a big bubble here. They all pretty much shake hands and that's another big problem too, is here you can get appointed an attorney, but the attorney's just going to say, oh, well, you should just lay down and do whatever CPS tells you.
Exactly the same back in England.
No matter whether it violates your rights, whether they're in the wrong and you're in the right, they just expect you to just lay down and let them do whatever they do. Here we have a lot of issues with falsified documents, things not being reported. My state, for instance, Virginia has a very huge issue with, they advocate for adoption over reunification.
Yeah.
So, we do have a lot of changes going on. Virginia, my state, we just got a law passed that is going to make the lawyers in these situations, they'll get paid a little bit more, because right now they barely get paid anything to handle a child welfare case. But they're also going to have to go through retraining. The judges, the guardian ad litems, and the lawyers are all going to have to be retrained on how to properly handle child welfare cases. Now, inside that bill, we're also supposed to be getting a parental advisory committee, which is supposed to be like people like me and you that have dealt with the system and have dealt with this issue, making a committee to help advise these attorneys and these other social workers and players in these roles on how to handle these situations better, on how to better manage it, and on how to better keep family ties together, even in situations where they remove the children. Because a lot of what goes on in the States is, as soon as they take your children, you don't see them anymore. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they say, oh, well, there's no family bond, we can't send the kids back.
Yeah. Even when they say they notice that, oh yeah, everything was just a mistake. Oh, but actually, they have settled now with a new family and they are all right.
Yeah. Exactly.
They do exactly the same back in UK. So
I started attending like state board hearings and different committee hearings. I reach out to anyone in our upper levels that I can and tell them my story, tell them what's going on. I try to let them know, I'm like, y'all might be getting reports from social workers that are saying this, but as a person going through it, and as a person dealing with other families going through it, you are not getting the truth about what's happening on the ground.
Yeah. Can I ask you, have they tried, I don't know if you were with your partner or not when you had your baby boy, have they tried to separate you, like saying, if you're separated from him, you probably were able to keep your son or something like that? Have they tried to separate the couple?
No, basically what they did in my case didn't even last 45 days. They transferred custody, closed the case, and said, see ya, we don't have nothing else to do with you.
That's interesting that you mentioned 45 days, because when we're doing the paperwork with the judge David Miller, 45 days, it comes up lots of times. 45 is a legal time. Now,
yeah.
Did you know that the barristers, when they do the oath, they mention that no fact should be tried in court?
Yeah.
Did you know about that?
Yeah. I don't feel too greatly about the bar.
But when they do these, when they say these things on the oath, that says everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge mess, and my state has already admitted. So what they did to me, they actually call it an alternative living arrangement. So they never actually put my children in foster care, which means that my family got no services, we got no reunification plan, we got no goals, we got no nothing. They basically just transferred custody, and that was it.
Have you ever seen Freyja again?
I have seen my children physically 2 times in 2.5 years.
How were they? Did you see them together or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My son was very standoffish. I can imagine with a lot of the things that he's being told, he's being brainwashed where he is. My daughter, she was a little standoffish at first, but she let me pick her up, sat in my lap, let me hug her. We read books together. The guardian ad litem praised my visit, said that if she could give me 5 stars on a visit with my kids, she would. But it's hard. I went from a mother that was with my children 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, to I haven't had my kids in 2.5 years now.
Were you working back then when everything happened, or?
Yes.
You were working?
Yes.
Were you independent, or did you have any kind of benefits? Did you have any money from the government?
No, me and my daughter's father worked for my daughter's father. He had his own company. He ran a tree care company.
So you are completely independent?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you think that you were a target then? Was just because they judge you physically, or?
No, so what happened is, after the birth of my daughter, I started having some really serious hormonal issues. And we didn't know that that's what it was at the time, but it was like every month I would get really upset, and me and my daughter's father, we would get into this really big argument. Most of the time it was just me blowing things up.
Yeah.
Come to find out, I ended up getting diagnosed with PMDD.
What is that?
That is premenstrual dysphoria disorder.
All right.
All right, so imagine PMS, but like on level 10,000. Okay, your body ovulates, and then you have a very bad reaction to the hormones, and it causes you to get out of whack hormonally.
Yeah.
So an argument led to the cops getting called.
But which kind of arguments? Was it guns? Was it knives involved? Which kind of arguments?
No, we were just arguing, just verbal.
So was like the neighbors calling the police?
Actually, I did, like an idiot.
Okay, I'm asking these things because the audience will ask those things.
Oh no, I never had any problem sharing anything that happened with that.
Yeah.
But it actually ended up working out in our favor, because that's when the police came out, and the police report and the search and everything was done. They searched for drugs, they searched for signs of domestic violence, they searched for everything, and they even said in the report that I was upset, I was over-exaggerating things.
Yeah.
They found no drugs, they found no drug paraphernalia, they found no reason for domestic violence.
Yeah.
So what happened is my son's grandmother took that argument and called CPS and told CPS the opposite of what the police said.
All right.
And that's what opened the investigation.
Yeah.
So they showed up on December 7th. A safety plan was signed. They left. On December 16th, I guess my son's grandmother got mad that nothing had happened, and they called social services a second time. That worker came out. We have it all on police body-worn camera. She found nothing wrong, cleared us, said that she felt like everything would just close and be going out the window. She had no reason to worry. 12 hours later, the original social worker shows up with 4 police officers, and they forced us into signing our children over.
On signing?
Yeah.
How were you forced? Can you explain how that happened?
We were told that our option was to sign the paper that would put our children in what was called respite care for 21 days. We would keep our custody while everything was sorted out, or the 4 cops would forcibly take our children right then.
Now, what do you think about that? Now, looking back.
They coerced us. They took advantage of the fact that we didn't know our rights. It's bad because, we had the police body cams of the removal of the children. And at one point of it, you can even hear the cops say, I don't even know what we're doing here.
Exactly.
She supposedly has this paperwork, but until I see it, I'm not really pressed about anything.
The social worker that was involved on my case, she said that. We are all speaking in here. We are arguing in here why at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning they want us to go to the hospital, take the baby to the hospital when the baby is actually very calm. Like the baby is sleeping. And I don't know even why I'm here. And
they said even during the body cam removals, you can hear her talk about how well loved my children are.
Yeah. And 1 hour after she says, right, I had enough. We need to go to the hospital. I'm just doing my job and that's it.
Yeah. It's horrible, but we thought, okay, if we sign this paper and we go to their meeting and we take their drug test and they see that it's not true,
yeah,
that our kids would come home. Like, that's what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the exact opposite happened.
What happened after?
So, I knew something was wrong because originally, now this was the week before Christmas. Originally, my children were supposed to come stay with my aunt for Christmas so we could still spend the holiday together. They then told me I couldn't see or speak to my children until my drug test results came back. At that point, I started being vigilant. I started calling the doctor. Hey, is my drug test back? Hey, is my drug test back? So the doctor tells me, the office tells me that my drug tests are back, but the doctor is busy. If I want a copy, I need to call the social worker. But I didn't want a copy from the social worker. I wanted a copy from the doctor. I wanted to see it straight from the doctor.
Original.
Yeah, by call 4, the doctor's office absolutely refused to give me my drug test results. And I knew right then something was wrong.
Yeah.
So we started looking for a lawyer. That was difficult. You start calling family lawyers, and you say the letter CPS, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we don't do that. I'm sorry, we don't do that.
But why is that? Did you want the lawyer privately? Would you pay for him, or he was from the government?
No, we were trying to privately hire a lawyer.
So why do you think he does not want to do that? Does not want to do the job?
I'm not sure. I think some of them just aren't as skilled in that Department of Child Welfare.
Or do you think because they do not want to be involved in child trafficking because of their conscience?
There might be a little bit of both.
Okay.
So then we finally found one lawyer's office that answered the phone and said, yeah, we can handle that. The paralegal sounded great. We hired her. The first thing she does is she demands my drug test results. 5 minutes later, I have my drug test results. So then she sends a notice over to CBS that she wants my children released back to me, that we're revoking the signed papers. They put a 24-hour hold on my children, and that is when they moved for what they call an emergency removal order. And that is where they started putting in all of the perjured information to keep my children from me. Another interesting fact about that is, and, I have no issues with different races or anything like that, but my children are paler than I am. okay?
Yeah.
They are both white children.
Yeah.
The court documents removed 2 black children from me.
Wow. How?
So, and then from there, it was basically nobody would get the evidence. The city blocked us from getting the body cameras, from getting the police reports. The lawyer wouldn't get it. And so all the judge has is what CPS is saying against me.
Yeah. So, even just by what you said, that the paperwork, they say that you had 2 black children. Do you think that only shows how they only do reports by copy-paste?
Yep, I think that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And they forgot to change the top.
Yeah. Yeah, because they have to do big files against the parents, and they have lots of cases. They don't give a damn. There is pressure on stealing children and selling children, and are you aware that if they receive any bonuses when they remove children?
Yes, absolutely. For here, it's called the Adoptions and Safe Families Act.
What can you say more about that?
But so a lot of that comes with once the child is adopted out. Now, I do know that they get funding and stuff for removing them, because if you watch the body camera of them taking my children, she was sitting around waiting for a phone call to approve funding.
Yeah.
So,
Brittany, do you know if they are together?
yeah, they're both with the same woman. They're 5 blocks from me. They're 5 minutes from me.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you see them sometimes, or do you rather not say anything?
Sometimes I see my son getting on a school bus because my nephew goes to the same school.
Okay, so I'm sure that must be very hard.
It's soul crushing.
Very hard.
It's soul crushing.
It is. It is. Are you able to work at the moment?
Yeah, I do. I work every day.
How it is to get up every day in the morning?
It's horrible. For probably the first 3 or 4 months that my kids were gone, I didn't even leave my house. I couldn't go to the store, couldn't go to a gas station. I still can't walk in Walmart, really. It was the last place I went shopping with the kids. I have a hard time cooking dinner because I had never cooked dinner for just myself.
Yeah.
It was always for all of us. Have a hard time sometimes with other people's kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's not them. It just hurts. You know.
It's hard to be around other kids. It's hard to see the other kids growing, and if you have seen the kids when they were babies and you see them growing, and that's where you're not.
Yeah.
That's what you are missing from your kids. When you share your story, or actually to your neighbors, the people that you work with, I don't know if you have been on the same place since everything happened. Do you get support from the people? Because you have exposed your case on the news, correct? More than once, I believe.
Sometimes, yes. So it's kind of 50-50 around here. You have a lot of people that will quietly support you.
Quietly.
Because they're afraid if they speak out for you that they'll deal with problems or retaliation. And then sometimes you're just met with a lot of, oh, well, if you just did what they said. Oh, if you just did this. Oh, if you just did that.
Judging.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand is, like, you know, even in our case, we reached out and we asked them, what do y'all want for us to do? What do you need us to do? What is
the solution?
The goal here? What is our reunification plan? They told us they weren't going to give us anything. So what hoops was I supposed to jump through? What was it that they told me to do that I was supposed to do?
There is no solution. They just want the kids.
Yeah. And so I made it a point to go down any and every avenue I can. That's how we ended up. So originally, they founded us for level 2 physical neglect, inadequate supervision is what I was founded for. It put me on an abuse and child neglect registry for 7 years.
Wow. So if your job would be involved with children, any kind,
or elderly,
or elderly,
I would not have, but we fought and won an appeal against CPS, so we got unfounded for abuse and neglect, and were removed off the registry.
Wow, congratulations for that. Because the
only thing is it hasn't brought our children home.
I know. It's horrible. But
so
you can actually, do these to people and say, what's the crime that I have committed. But Brittany, let me tell you that me and Leon, we have never signed absolutely nothing, and they have done everything. They kidnapped our baby, and we never signed anything. So it's not about signing or not, because they do it.
Yeah. They do what they want, how they want, when they want.
Yeah, they do it. Now, do they use in America the future emotional risk?
They do, but I don't believe they tried to pull that in my case.
All right.
They just kept, so in my case, first they tried to say it was drugs. When they couldn't get the drugs to stick, they then tried to say that it was domestic violence. I don't even know what the inadequate supervision is. I don't even know what the basis of where they got that came from.
Let me tell you, that would be, for example, the case of Madeleine McCann. I don't know if you have heard about it. They left twins under 3 years, I believe. And Madeleine McCann, I think she was 4 years old, and she was kidnapped. That's what they say, what the parents they said. And they went back to England with the twins, and the girl disappeared. So they have never been charged with nothing at all. And the Portuguese social services, they never wanted the twins either, and the English either. So probably that's what they mean.
But that's the thing, my children had never been left alone.
Yes, exactly.
So.
Exactly.
But, so I'm still currently trying to fight in court to get custody back.
Let me tell you, Brittany, this couple, they have been with Oprah.
Nice.
Right? Yeah. And actually, what people they say, obviously alleged, is that the child is hidden in a church that was Portuguese, and when everything happened, it became an English church in the south of Portugal. Just a coincidence, I'm sure, probably.
Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences too much.
I believe in that there is power people that can do everything and anything.
I agree.
And it's amazing how some people they don't even have the right to have their own children.
Right.
And that's all they wanted.
Yeah. It changes your identity. All I knew my whole life was being a mother. Like, that was my life, and now it's gone.
Are you part of any kind of groups, or there is any movements in America trying?
Oh yeah, there's plenty. There is so many you can't even count how many there are.
And private groups on Facebook, lots of people interacting, and I'm sure that you can see that it's always the same that is being said.
Yep.
Do you feel that the people, they are fighting all alone?
I think in some ways we are all fighting together and alone.
Yeah.
Like I tell families when they first find me and they're looking for direction, I tell them, welcome to the hell train. It's a place where you're going to find both comfort and sorrow, and knowing you're not the only one.
Yeah, because you know that you haven't done nothing wrong, and even on those days that you blame yourself, you know.
Well, see, that's hold on though there, because see, that's also one of my issues, because there are people that do things wrong, or that have a minor issue, or that have this, but the punishment of losing their children, or having their children taken away briefly or permanently, is not the answer to what little wrong was done.
Of course.
So I try to avoid the whole didn't do anything wrong thing, because let's say you were a mother going through postpartum depression and your house was dirty, or you fallen on poverty and your house doesn't have running water. That's not a reason you should be taken from your children. These social services are supposed to help correct that, not make it worse by stealing children.
Unless what people, they believe was the job of social services, in reality is not actually social services and is actually child trafficker.
Yeah, so what I like to refer to it here in the States is it's child trafficking for state resources.
Because there is a lot of money involved. There is judges, there is solicitors, there is doctors, there is psychologists, there is policemen. There is a lot of people involved, and there is a lot of people that they know about these. There is people in the government that they are involved.
Yeah, and so I don't know if y'all have it here, but here we actually have what is called child abuse pediatricians. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. But so they have a specialty in child abuse.
Well, they're made to look for signs of it more than others.
All right. Yeah.
But I think mostly they create the issues. So, for instance, we have a case here, okay? Here in Virginia. A woman's son, now she had 2 daughters and a son. She was accused of spanking her child with a belt. It's an African-American family. Apparently her son had that skin pigment issue where he would get darker spots on his body rather than in other spots. Now they criminally charged her. And they only took her son from her. Okay? Left both of the daughters, took her son. She fought all the way up the state of Virginia, and she overturned her case. She proved that not only did she not spank her son with a belt, she never spanked her children at all. She won that case. Her son is still not home. And that all came from a pediatrician seeing one small bruise and calling social services.
That is about ego, It's about they know it all, and it's about the power that they have over people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the body worn camera of my removal, you can hear the cop tell the social worker about a story. He said that he witnessed one time where this young one was supposed to relinquish her kids to social services, and instead she pushed the social worker down and took off with her kids. And the cop's like, yeah, she was charged with parental abduction. She had to fight for a year, got her kids back a year later. The social worker looks right at him and says, well, I used to work foster care, and I've never been hit, but I have been threatened. But they knew better, because if anybody put their hands on me, it would be a death sentence to parental rights. A social worker does not have the authority to make that call. But she was blatantly showing the amount of power she believed she had in the statement she was making.
They know. Right, in America, there is a lot of cases about pedophilia. There is association in between Hollywood and pedophilia. There is Epstein Island, and there is theories, obviously, that the guy didn't die. And there is a lot of things. And
Nancy Schaefer?
Pardon?
Nancy Schaefer?
What is that?
So, back in 2007, Nancy Schaefer was a senator for Georgia.
Nancy. Did you say Nancy? Yes, I know about her. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got that too.
Can you explain to the audience what did she do and who is she?
So Nancy Schaefer back in 2007 was approached by a grandmother who accused CPS of doing everything they could to keep the children from them. They had the children in foster care, trying to adopt them out, and she's like, I don't understand it, We have an entire family here ready to bring the kids home, and CPS won't look into it. Nancy started conducting an investigation.
She's a senator.
She found about 400 other families in her district that had gone through the same issues, and she wrote a publication. It was titled The Corrupt Business Practices of Child Protective Services. And she ended up losing her Senate seat on it. And then she ran for Senate again under the campaign slogan, some things in life are worth losing for. However, about a week before Nancy was supposed to testify in front of the Senate subcommittee, there was a murder-suicide that left her and her husband dead.
And that was back in, what's the year?
I want to say that was around 2013. Originally, everything started happening in 2007 with her. My year on that may be wrong. But, that just shows you how long, though, that the government has known this was going on and is still turning a blind eye, doing nothing about it.
So for her to suicide or, for someone to kill her, that really shows that there is child trafficking and is the government doing it.
Absolutely. And then we also have to draw the connection that everybody, it's very well known that foster care is the pipeline to human trafficking and prison. Adoption, the Adoption and Safe Families Act was signed and put into place in the United States by Bill Clinton, who is connected to Jeffrey Epstein. I don't like to look at conspiracy theories like that, but if the shoe fits, it's kind of hard not to wear it.
Can you say how connected is that? Based on what do you say that?
The way I look at it is, once it gave the states incentives to adopt children out, it made it easier for them to be taken. If you look at our ASFA numbers, okay? So Bill Clinton signed ASFA into play in 1997. 1998 was the first reporting year for money-wise to come out. The first year, I think, 11 or 33 states got about $36 million or $36,000 in that first year. If you flash forward 12 years later, that number jumps 857%. There is no way that parents are abusing their children at a rate that high.
Yeah.
No way. You cannot convince me that that's happening.
Yeah. Is there any paperwork that associates Bill Clinton to pedophilia, or that he was in Epstein Island? Is his name on the files?
I've been so focused on the CPS side of things, I haven't even looked.
Yeah, but there is I have on my mind the painting of Bill Clinton in a dress, and I believe that was in Epstein. I'm not sure, but yeah, there is quite a few connections. Actually, there is a ex policeman back in England. His name is Gary Waterman, and he has stated that there is connections, and he can prove that there is connections in between lots of fostering houses and social services back in UK to Epstein and people that they work for the guy. So, and there is a lot of children that they disappear in foster care.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
right now, just a couple of months ago, in our Senate committee investigations, they were discussing how, so America has a big ordeal with children at the border that are coming in from like Mexico and South America. They're getting separated. Well, they actually admitted that these children are coming in with a phone number written on their arm, and it's going to a sponsor, and they ended up finding a lot of these immigrant children had been placed with sponsors that either trafficked them out or were using them as child labor on farms.
wow.
And that was testified to openly in our government courts just a couple of months ago.
Wow. Back then there was that movie on the cinemas, and there was lots of noise around. I don't remember the name of the movie now, but
Sound of Freedom?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
And I don't follow that all too well, because first and foremost, they don't help with anything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
They'll tell you to call your local police department, half of which doesn't do anything, especially when it comes to state agencies, custodial arrangements, different things like that. To them, it's a civil matter. They don't do anything about it. My other issue with that is the Sound of Freedom, they only focus, like, if you're a person in America, they won't help you. That part doesn't make sense to me.
And the producers, they were high profile. They were Hollywood. They were Hollywood people.
Yeah, which also goes back to another conspiracy theory. Because 5 years prior, I don't know if you know who Chris Cornell or Chester Bennington is.
No, by the name I don't recall.
Okay, have you ever heard of the band Soundgarden?
I'm not sure now. Yeah.
Okay, have you ever heard of Linkin Park?
Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, well, both of those singers were
Lincoln Park. Yes, I can.
Both of those singers were both helping with child trafficking overseas.
Okay.
They were both heavily involved in investigating and helping. Now, 6 years ago, they were supposed to be coming out with a movie about child trafficking. The next thing you know, both of them commit suicide a few months apart.
Is that the actor of like the Fast Cars movie?
No, mm-mm.
Okay.
He was a singer to a band.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But a lot of people believe.
Oh no! Is it like Is it not the singer that did a video clip where there was lots of children going inside a truck? And it's like
Maybe.
a rapper, that kind of style?
Maybe. He was in two major bands.
Okay.
Soundgarden and Audioslave.
Right.
But a lot of people believe that both of those singers were actually killed because of their investigations into child trafficking.
Yeah.
And what they were trying to release.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, obviously. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm never surprised at anything like that anymore these days.
Do you really, I think the feeling is actually that there is a battle in between evil and good. And
Honestly, you want to know what I think it is? I really don't think it's so much that. I think it's that anytime you put money involved in something, greed is always going to overpower morality.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think there is something going on as well, and I think the times that they are changing, there is something happening. Like, have you seen the portrait from King Charles?
No.
Like, it's all red.
No, I haven't seen it.
Have you not? Like, let me show you. It's all red, and people, when they turn the picture upside down, it shows like what people they see, like so there is a butterfly in there that lots of people they associate to mind control, and when they put that picture like upside down and they turn on the sides, there is an image of Baphomet, they say, and it's like, I find it like extremely sick that a king, the portrait is all red.
Yeah.
It's like they are really put in front of your eyes. The concert of Madonna, she went to Brazil, and the concert is all horns and is all satanic or rituals or whatever that is, candles. Like, there was the Eurovision now, the festival, and all the things like that. I don't know. I don't know what's the times, but they are really weird times that we are living now. I don't know. I feel like they are really showing to everyone to who they pray. And
I think they do kind of, they show us in other ways what's about to happen. People just don't believe it.
Yeah, the people, they are too afraid to see the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But
or too indoctrinated.
Yeah, because they can't see, isn't it? For me, when I look in the sky and I don't see the sky blue and I see white lines, I can see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one is open, but I can see it. I obviously I can see that there is something really wrong, but the majority of the people, they can't see, they do not want to see, and even they will kill us for saying what we think.
It goes back to the term ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you see it disrupts your happy, and you have to admit that there is bad and there is wrong. Where if you turn a blind eye and you stay only in your little bubble, that as long as it doesn't affect you, it's not happening, they can carry on being happy in their lives.
Yeah. But they will come for them too.
Yeah, they just don't realize it yet.
they will come, because things, they are changing, you know. Now in the schools, if the parents, they don't allow the kid to go to the school when the teacher is saying, are you a boy or are you a girl? Are you feeling today like a boy or like a girl? Are you sure you are a boy? And they are allowing these men dressed in women reading stories.
And now in America, we have 3 states that if your son or a daughter wants to not be a son or a daughter and you don't agree, it's child abuse and they can take your kids. That's scary.
So how old, and so the kids, they can change the gender?
Mm-hmm.
How old can they do that surgery?
We have kids as young as 7 and 8 and 9 years old going on hormone therapies and different things here. TLC did a show on a little boy that changed his name to Jasmine and had been following him, and it's scary. Like, you're not in I don't have any problem with a grown adult changing their gender, being who they want to be. I don't care if you're gay, if you're pan, if you're bi,
Yeah.
But don't make a permanent decision with children.
And if you are sterile, don't have and don't believe that you are entitled to have children, because if you are sterile, you have to accept. If you have love to give, get a dog, get a cat, and give the love, but don't feel that you are entitled to have children.
To steal somebody else's child.
Because that children are being taken from.
I completely agree.
Yeah. And now, fortunately, there is adoptees coming out and expressing what adoption is for them. And lots of them, they talk about a fog. And unfortunately, lots of them, they feel bad about mothers because they have been told that they have been dumped by the mothers.
Some of them, but I've also noticed that the adoptee community refuses to see the connection between those of us that were wronged by CPS.
Oh, really?
Yes, I've actually met that in the adoptee community. Oh, it's not the same because you didn't relinquish your child, or you weren't talked into relinquishing your child. We're not talking about where the agency had to get involved. And those are the ones that aren't seeing through the fact that these agencies are using the same tactics, the same lies, the same coercive measures to take children, the same way they are convincing women to give up their babies to adoption.
Exactly. So the adoptees, they prefer to believe their mothers, they relinquish, the words that you are using, they relinquish their own children. I've seen a movie that I cannot forget. It's a woman that she just had the baby, and obviously she has been forced somehow to sign adoption, and there is a couple on the side and they grab the baby, and you just can see it. You can see that the woman, I'm sure that probably you have seen this video, and you can see how the woman looks at the baby and looks at the mother, and they don't feel comfortable by being in the same room as the mother. And you can see exactly what is happening in there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's definitely scary. Now, I don't mean to cut this short, but I gotta start getting myself ready for work here shortly.
Yep. All right, Brittany. Brittany, thank you. It has been 1 hour now. That's the time that I actually do. Brittany, thank you so much for this, and carry on being strong, because I know that you are strong, and I want to tell you, that's what I feel like it somehow. That's the only way to go through, is to feel that we have been chosen for this for a reason, because he knows that we can do the change.
Yes, ma'am, and if you would ever like to catch up again and chit-chat and do one of these, just let me know, and I'm a video call away.
Thank you so much, Brittany. All the best for you, and we keep in touch.
You as well, ma'am. You have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.